Hello and welcome students. Welcome all of you students who have chosen class 11 humanities, and today is your first session, so welcome you all in our political science class. So today I'm going to start the very first chapter of class 11 humanities, political science book 1, okay, that is Indian Constitution at Work. In this book, children, you are going to study about the working of Indian Constitution, and in these chapters we will read about the information about various aspects of the working of our Constitution, and we will learn about the various institutions of the government in our country and also their relationship with each other. Okay, now before we begin to read about elections, government and presidents and prime minister, it is necessary to understand that the entire structure of the government and the various principles that bind the institution of government, and it have their origin in the Indian Constitution, that is Constitution of India. So we are going to understand about the working of Indian Constitution in this chapter. And children, you have already read and studied about Indian Constitution before, but in this class we are going to study about our Constitution in details. Okay, we will understand the various aspects of the working of our constitutions and the various institutions of the government, how it works and what is the relationship with each other. Okay, so the book 1, that is Indian Constitution of at Work, the very first chapter I am going to begin today, that is Constitution, Why and How. Okay, NCERT. So let's start. Now, in this chapter, what are the topics which are to be covered? Okay, first of all, let's see what are the topics which we are going to study in this chapter. First of all, what a constitution means. What is the meaning of a constitution? Means the definition of constitution we are going through. Next, we will read about the functions and needs of a constitution. Why a constitution is needed in our country, and what are the various functions of it, we will study. Next, how constitution governs the allocation of powers in society. Okay, how it distributes the different powers in society, and what was the way in which Constitution of India was made. Next, composition of Constituent Assembly, that is making of Constituent Assembly. The principles of deliberation, the examination process, and the inheritance of the nationalist movement. Okay, and institutional arrangements. Okay, and the various provisions, okay, which we have adopted from different countries' constitution. So these are the topics which we are going to cover in this chapter. So today we will only cover a few topics, not all the topics. Okay, so this is the first video. So in this session, the first session, we are going to start with the what a constitution means. Okay, the very first topic, and the various functions, needs of constitution, and how constitution governs the allocation of powers in society. So we will go through each topic one by one. But before this, okay, first of all, let's go through our preamble. Okay, children, you know very well what is meant by preamble. This is the introductory part of our Indian Constitution, okay, which is very, very important. As you know, a preamble is the introductory part, means the introduction part of the Constitution. It gives the idea of forms of government, values, philosophy and commitment of the Constitution. As it starts like, we the people of India have solemnly resolved to constitute India into a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic, and to secure to all its citizens justice, social, economic, and political liberty of thought, expression, belief, faith, and worship, equality of status and of opportunity, and to promote among them all fraternity, assuring the dignity of the individual and the unity and integrity of the nation. Okay, so this is about preamble of our constitution. Next, children, you have already studied about the feature of Indian Constitution, which you have already studied before, right? So let's discuss few features of our Indian Constitution. As you know, our Indian Constitution is written and the lengthiest constitution. It is a written one, unlike Britain's constitution, which is a non-written constitution. As you know, our Indian Constitution is a written constitution, whereas Britain means UK, we have a unwritten constitution. And the Indian Constitution is also the lengthiest in the world. Next feature about the preamble. Okay, in the beginning means the introduction part, right? There is a preamble which signifies its ideals, justice, equality, secularism, individual dignity, fraternity, and national unity and aspirations of the Indian people. Next, republic. India is a republic country. As a republic country, people have the freedom to exercise their right to form their own government and to elect the head of the government. Okay, so we have a republican government. Okay, we can choose our leaders here. Next, people's government. That is, it provides citizens to have a form of government which is of the people, by the people, and for the people. People have to elect their own representative, right? Next, we have fundamental rights. It has a provision of 6 unique and fundamental rights granted to the citizens. Now, the government can't take away or snatch away any of these fundamental rights by unlawful means. Okay, these are fundamental. These rights we are getting from our Indian Constitution, and government doesn't have the power to snatch away these powers from us, right? Next is secularism. Okay, India is a secular country, right? As per the principles of secularism, the government must be impartial towards all the religion followed by its citizens, and the state can't have a bias or inclination towards any particular religion. Means in India, means in our country, we have the freedom, okay, to practice any religion, to practice and accept any religion and profess any religion. We don't have any such restrictions to follow a particular religion. Okay, this is the freedom which we are getting from our Indian Constitution, and government can't make any restrictions, can't impose any restrictions on its citizens towards religion. So this is about the features of Indian Constitution. Next year, one question arises that why do we need a constitution? Okay, why do we need a constitution? What is the necessity of it? Why it is so important? So in general, we can say, children, that we need a constitution to govern our country properly, and the constitution defines the nature of political system of a country. And sometimes we feel strongly about an issue that might go against our larger interest, and the constitution helps us guard against these. And also all the 3 organs of government which we have, like executive, legislature and judiciary, functions within the constitution. All the three organs of government, including ordinary citizens, derive their power and authority, that is fundamental right, from the Constitution. If they act against it, it is unconstitutional and unlawful. So all the three organs of the government functions within the Constitution. Okay, they are bound by the law. Okay, so all the three organs of the government, like executive, legislature and judiciary, they have their own role and functions. So a constitution is required to have authoritative allocation of power and functions, and also to restrict them within its limit. Okay, so this is the reason why we need a constitution. Next, after that, children, will come to different functions of our Indian Constitution. Okay. Now, the very first function of Constitution is to provide a set of basic rules that allow for minimal coordination amongst members of society. Okay, so this is the very first function, that a constitution provides us a set of basic rules and which allow for minimal coordination among the members of society. Now, second function. The second function of a constitution is to specify who has the power to make decisions in a society. Okay, it will specify only the constitution. It decides how the government will be constituted. Okay, so a constitution is there to decide that how the government will be constituted or formed. Next, the third function of a constitution is to set some limits on what a government can impose on its citizens. Okay, it will set some limits on the powers of the government so that the government can't become a dictator, and it will not impose any restriction on its citizens. That means it will not snatch away any of the rights of the citizens. And these limits are fundamental in the sense that government may never trespass them. Now, the last one, that is the fourth function of a constitution, is to enable the government to fulfill the aspirations of a society and create condition for a just society. That means a good society. Okay, so this is the fourth function of a constitution. So these are all the four functions of constitution. Now we are going to study it in details. Okay, now as per the first function, that constitution provides some basic rules. Okay, so children, as you know, every society needs certain basic rules to live together, right? As we are living in a society, we have certain rules and regulations that we must have to follow. In a diverse society, each group might have a different way of life, right? We are living in a diverse country. But if all the groups, they want to live together, they all need to agree upon certain rules of conduct. But all the people, all the ethnic groups or the groups of people who are living together, they must have to follow some certain rules of conduct. Next, a simple analogy that can explain this is that for smooth functioning of traffic, like we all need to follow some traffic rules, everybody has to follow it, right children? Without them, there would be accident and no one would feel safe on the road. So we all must have to follow some basic rules. Clear? Next, Constitution specifies decision-making powers. Okay, now after providing for basic rules in society, the next question is that who will make the decision, right? This question is arising that who will make the decisions in the society? Who will make rules or the law? Who will execute those laws? And who will adjudicate the disputes arising in the society? So, The constitution precisely answers these questions. Okay, now the question comes here that who is going to make the rules and the law, right? And who will execute those law, and who will adjudicate, means interpret the law, or we can say it will solve the conflict or the dispute arising in the society. So for that question already we have a solution that is provided by our Indian Constitution. That is, there are three organs of government, right? First is legislature, that is the law making body. Secondly we have executive branch, okay, which will implement the law. And the third is judicial branch, right? That is judiciary, okay. It will interpret the law and it will solve the conflict or any kind of dispute arising in the society. So these are the three branches of the government, okay. Next, Constitution sets some limits on the government, right? Constitution, it sets some limit on the government. This is the third function. Now, why the Constitution is setting some limits on the government? What is the reason behind? That is, the power of limiting the powers of authority or the government is to ensure that there is no arbitrariness in decision making. Okay, that means unfettered power could easily turn into tyranny, and it could, jeopardize the welfare of the people for whose service the government came into being. That means the government when the government is coming in power, it might become a dictator. So to stop this, the Constitution has set some limits on the powers of the government so that it will not become a dictator. Okay. And our Constitution, through fundamental rights and other provisions, ensure that our government cannot encroach upon certain basic freedoms of the citizens. An example of setting some limits on the government, on the powers of the government, is the fundamental rights that we all the citizens are getting from Indian Constitution. Means these fundamental rights are setting limits on the powers of the government, because the government cannot snatch away or take away all these fundamental rights from the citizens. So this is a limit on the powers of the government. And next we have goals and aspirations of society. Okay, this is the fourth function of Constitution, to enable the government to fulfill the aspirations of a society and to create conditions for a just society. Okay, so that the government will create a better and good society. That means equal and beneficial for all the people, okay, for the welfare of the people. It will create such conditions so that some welfare schemes, some welfare programs, so that all the people, all the citizens will get, the benefits and also the advantages from the government. So it will create a just society in this way. This is the fourth function of our Constitution. And as we know that there are certain goals and aspirations that each society values and strives to achieve. All the modern Constitution not only puts limit to the government, but they also provide certain obligations on the government. And government should take positive measures to achieve those. Okay, for example, Indian Constitution obligates the government to end the caste-based discrimination. Okay, to stop the partiality which is going on, discrimination which is going on caste basis. Okay, so the government must have to stop that. So in this way, government should take some positive measures. Okay, like example, South African Constitution, it obligates its government to end the racial discrimination. Okay, so these are some enabling provisions of our Constitution, right?